Thank you very much, Joel, for your kind introduction. Can everyone see the slides?
Yes, we can.
We can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Online as
Thank
well.
you. Yes, good. And also thank you to Gunther for this invitation to such a cutting-edge workshop. I must say that after hearing Peter set the scene yesterday, I had a very nervous feeling in my belly that I will be in for a very rough ride today. First, Peter laid the foundation of how recursively we are both consumers and producers of data, forming a Mobius strip and what I would call a tight samsaric loop. AI is reflecting back to us who we are through what Peter calls a karmic accelerator. Second, I have a naive but passionate belief in the fountain of goodness that is in every sentient being. Hence, I'm putting forward my case before you today to be shattered. I mean, to be discussed. So let me proceed. Today, I want to propose three things. First, what Gunther et al. Beautifully calls an attention ecology. And I believe that can be a form of Buddhist ethical practice. Second, the attention economy exacerbates the 5 obstructions of wisdom. Sometimes we call it 5 hindrances, and prevent people from being a better version of themselves. And finally, I propose a meta versus concept that places our attention on something positive, such as loving kindness. That is, we thoroughly apply ourselves in the sense of Yoniso Manasikara, so that we operate in communities in which our actions can be beneficial to one another. First, how can the attention ecology be a form of Buddhist ethical practice? I will base my ideas on Gunther's definition of attention ecology. On the slide, I've used red to indicate the characteristics of the attention economy and green for the attention ecology. I like the word ecology because it indicates something bigger, which coheres well with my Mahayana Buddhist training. The picture on the slide is where I am now. At the bottom corner, Nantian Institute is where I'm sitting. I'm in a little room in there. And across from the Institute, across the Nantian Bridge, is the Nantian Temple, both of which are located south of Sydney amidst this beautiful greenery and near very popular beaches. Although Nantian is only a small speck in Australia and in the world, we host tourists from around the world. And this particular Lunar New Year weekend, we expect at least 10,000 visitors per day. The Nantian Institute may be small, but our students are also global. Every blessing that is received and every bit of education that is offered through the Nantian ecology can also be accelerated across the same Mobius strip and karmic accelerator. It is not only spatial, but temporal relations as well. Although the present is momentary, it is part of a continuum of past, present, and future. If we can provide the right causes and conditions for Yoniso Manasikara or wise attention, then people who are touched will have the seeds of wisdom, ethics, and attention practices sowed in their consciousness. Before I move on, just a few words about how Buddhists believe what the world really is, and hence why wise attention forms an important part of the practice. Mahayana practice stresses the understanding of dependent co-arising and emptiness as fundamental insights into the nature of reality. Impermanence suggests that the world is in an ever-changing flux and is the sum of everything that is changing. From the concept of non-self comes the realization that I am not a stable thing, but rather relationally constituted. So Buddhists believe that seeing the way reality is and seeing the way one unfolds in this reality helps to motivate a certain way of being in the world that is virtuous, good, and moral. So knowing that, quote unquote, I am not the center of the world, then, quote unquote, my narrative or attention can change. By meditating on these four deep truths and applying attention wisely, the practitioner can go beyond their usual dualistic thinking and superficial appearances to become kinder and wiser, realizing that there is no deep difference between my good and yours. Then I can become more morally selfless. Second, I want to turn back to the attention economy and discuss the 5 obstructions of wisdom according to Buddhism. In Buddhist philosophy, the 5 obstructions of wisdom are mental factors that block off one's true mind or Buddha nature. This means blocking one from recognizing interconnectedness, emptiness, impermanence, and non-self as the true nature of reality. In other words, these hindrances distort our perception of reality and prevent liberation. Hence, these 5 obstructions can be seen as the emotional landscape of the attention economy. The 5 obstructions are sensory desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and doubt. Sensory desire distorts our perception of reality by making us believe that happiness can be achieved through sensory pleasures. Persuasive technologies are powered by algorithms that promote attachment and craving, usually working on a person's primal sense of lack. Ill will can make us perceive others as enemies, leading to actions driven by anger and hatred. Again, persuasive technologies increase our anxiety through such fear appeal. This not only causes suffering to others, but also prevents us from achieving inner peace and liberation. Sloth and torpor can lead to laziness and lack of effort in practicing the Dharma, that is, exercising wise attention. Restlessness and worry can make it difficult for us to concentrate and stay in the present moment. Social influence and gamification have created a FOMO or fear of missing out mentality. As you can see, both sloth and torpor and restlessness and worry can prevent us from achieving a focused and calm mind, which are essential for meditation and the attainment of enlightenment. Doubt can prevent us from fully committing to the Buddhist path. These 5 obstructions are considered significant obstacles on the path to liberation from suffering because they cover the clarity of our mind and our ability to be mindful, wise, concentrated, and stay on purpose. They are not personal failings, but rather mental factors or energies that arise in the minds of all humans. This is the emotional landscape we inhabit in the attention economy. Finally, on to the hope. Mahayana Buddhism emphasizes what is known as the Bodhisattva ideal, which involves the pursuit of enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. Manasikara, or attention, is crucial as it enables the practitioner to cultivate bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment, with compassion and wisdom. Through deliberate attention, a bodhisattva remains mindful of their altruistic vows and the needs of others, directing their efforts towards universal liberation. So back to an attention ecology. In Mahayana Buddhism, our primary focus is on bodhicitta. In practice, this means the cultivation of loving kindness and compassion, which can be understood as placing our attention on the suffering of others, feeling compassion, and acting through acts of loving kindness. A Mahayana-inspired attention ecology will be communities, plural, communities of practice that have bodhicitta at its heart. So Metaverses is a project that aims to facilitate the creation and growth of online and real-world communities of practice that prioritize compassion, social cohesion, kindness or metta, and interconnectedness. Metta is a Pali word that is often translated as loving kindness in English. It refers to a benevolent and unconditional love or friendliness that one cultivates towards all living beings. My teacher, the late Venerable Master Xingyun, defines acts of loving kindness as selflessly serving and assisting with wisdom, and giving charity without expecting anything in return. I'm confident in proposing Metaverses as an attention ecology because I've seen it work in a mini scale at the Nantian Institute. We started online 30-minute care and share Sunday check-in sessions during COVID, and we have to date run 167 sessions as of the last Sunday. As a result, we have developed a habit of pausing in response to changes and cultivating thoughts, words, and actions that are guided by humanistic and Buddhist values and wisdom. The goal is to build communities and friendship. Once started, even I, who started it, could not stop it. This is a testimony to humans having in our nature to form communities. So when we come together, we pause. We create space for our attention to deepen. It allows what's inside, or what I call the fountain of goodness, to emerge. We become kinder and more awake. I guess that people must like what they see in themselves and others in these Sunday check-in Zoom sessions, that they keep coming back. I find myself drawn to such sessions every Sunday because they help me to liberate myself from my self-centered narrative. From this small Sunday check-in community, I hope to see many, many such communities that decide how they wish to reframe attention as a practice and shift conversations away from capitalist consumerism towards kindness. Such an attention ecology can be a direct antidote to the negative, addictive, and individualistic impacts of the attention economy. Rather than a persuasive technology, we can see Metaverses as a meta technology. So I put before you an idealistic but heartfelt proposal. First, that the attention economy is highly exploitative and it exacerbates the 5 obstructions of wisdom. Next, that creating the right attention ecology is a Buddhist ethical practice, because where we place our attention will shape our mind and hence our behavior. The bodhicitta is an essential commitment for a Mahayana, Buddhist-inspired attention ecology. And finally, I propose the Metaverses as an antidote to the negative effects and stressors of living in an attention economy. Well, the fact that you've paid attention for more than 15 minutes testifies to the fact that all is not lost. I welcome your questions and reflections. And given that my attention is at its lowest at this time of the day or evening, I hope that we can all discuss together. I don't promise I have any answers. I'm presenting something that's actually quite simple and straightforward, but I really welcome your suggestions. Thank you. I'll stop sharing now.
So we just want to take a few minutes now before Saraj begins speaking to see if there are any questions, really just of clarification. I know clarification can be a very expansive task. But if there's something that just didn't quite, or you wanted a bit more detail on, or something that wasn't quite clear yet. Yeah, Vinny.
Yes, thank you very much, Juewei. I'm very curious. Could you elaborate on this notion of, metaverse as it is used in the, in the technical community, and your metaverse? So how would it look like? Do you have a picture of it, a scenario, or also from a technological point of view?
Yes.
Because if
Thank
you
you
talk
so
about, like a metaverse by design, based on this notion of meta, your notion, how does it look like? How would it look like?
Right. So let me just say that I coined this term at the time when Meta launched Metaverse about in 2020, 2021, I believe. So when they launched this, I thought, I don't want to see this Metaverse. It's so scary. But I thought of Meta, the loving kindness, in multiverses of loving kindness. So it's not just one community, but many spin-off communities. And at that time, I also started these Sunday check-in sessions online. So they are Zoom sessions, Zoom-based sessions, and we come together for only 30 minutes. And during those 30 minutes, we spend a few minutes just to pause at the beginning so that we can all settle in. And with this pause, after that, one facilitator will speak for about 5 minutes on a humanistic value, on a topic, and then we go into breakout rooms to examine how the week has been, check in with one another, and usually there are guiding questions from the facilitator that we discuss. And then we come back together into plenary, and it's an optional 30 minutes afterwards where we would continue the discussion. All the comments that we encourage people to write comments into the chat stream, and then a poster team takes those chat comments and translate them into a poster. And this poster is sent out as part of midweek reflection for everyone. So it has I would say, a very positive spiral. So every Sunday we do this, every Wednesday we'll send out a midweek reflection, and it hasn't stopped for over 3 years. So I tried to stop it when I thought that, oh, now all the borders are open, people are traveling, nobody will have time to come to these anymore. But no, people kept coming, which testified to the power of communities, which is the versus part. People wanted the social cohesion, even though we are very far away. We have people from Asia, from America, and from as well as from Australia, or around Australia. So I think it's an opportunity for people to come together. So these are multiverses, and there were also spin-offs. So there are also individuals who spin off and form their own communities over a particular topic. For example, there's one communities of practice that spun off to talk about environmental matters. So I can see that such metaverses can take place online, but also in person. So what I'm doing now is I'm conducting a survey, and I'll put the survey link onto the chat later, and asking individuals about where they see, how they would like to see such metaverses being run. I've got over 150 responses. I still welcome responses in the next week. We'll close everything next week. But it's an opportunity for us to see what people think, whether such metaverses are feasible, and if so, we'll implement this on a slightly larger scale. I hope that answers the question.
No, it's just we're starting to launch a wider discussion. So I think we'll maybe at this point, thank you, Juewei, for your launching this session. And I'd like now to introduce Suraj and his talk. Suraj Hongradharam is a professor in the Department of Philosophy